Hello, happy Monday, sisters. Welcome to another installment of Just Us Sisters Talking. Today we are going to be talking about how to add value in a meeting. Now, most of us attend a lot of meetings. Some of us hate meetings. Some of us have a meeting for the meeting. But I want to specifically talk about how to get your voice heard, how you can stand out within a meeting, how you can make your mark within a meeting. So that's what I want to talk about on today. In terms of a meeting, I want you to remember two things about a meeting. If you are invited to a meeting, then evidently whoever invited you feel as if you have something to contribute or something to offer to whatever the subject matter is for that meeting. So always keep that in mind. You were invited to that meeting because the expectation is that you have something to contribute to whatever the subject matter is of the meeting. So when you get an invite for a meeting, generally, most times, not all the time, but most times when you get an invite to a meeting, you will have the subjects, particularly if you are invited through Outlook. There's a line there that has the subject of the meeting. And so hopefully the subject information will give you an indication as to what the meeting is about, which will allow you to prepare or gather any information that you have on that topic. This will be very beneficial to you within the meeting if you are allowed to do a little bit of research, investigations or clarification, or even refer to your notes in regards to whatever it is that topic is about for the meeting, because you want to go into a meeting as prepared as possible. Keep in mind, for those of you who are my clients, or those of you who follow me on social media, you know that I am a career elevation expert for female middle managers seeking senior leadership positions. And however, in regards to those female middle managers, my belief is that you want to be in the room not because you are a woman, but because you are the most qualified. And so the only way that you're going to be the most qualified is to ensure that you stay abreast of whatever it is that is going on within your company. And so if you get a meeting invitation about a subject, I want you to gather as much information as possible about that subject prior to the meeting. So it's the day of the meeting and you're on your way to the meeting. You are there with your peers. You have gathered whatever information that you have about whatever the subject matter is. Since you aren't the host of the meeting, you're a participant of the meetings. But keep in mind, as I said before, you are expected to contribute to the meeting. So there are a couple of housekeeping rules that should go without saying that you should observe in a meeting. You want to put your phone on not on vibrate, but you want to make sure that the tone is off. Even vibrating phones can be very distracting in a meeting. You don't want to be referring to your phone in the meeting. You want to be in the moment of the meeting. And in this world where we are all owners of smartphones, sometimes we try to multitask during a meeting by responding to or sending a email, and you don't want to do that in a meeting. Actually, those type of activities prolong a meeting because you don't have the speaker does not have your undivided attention. Sometimes it causes the speaker to repeat information because you missed information because you were referring to your phone. So in regards to your cell phone, you want to ensure that the tone and vibration is off during the meeting. You want to be all in when you're in the meeting. As the speaker is talking, I want you to be very familiar with what you have gathered in terms of whatever that subject matter is about that meeting. Just whatever it is that you know about the subject matter ahead of time, I want you to be very familiar. So as the speaker is talking, I want you to be thinking about three things. Remember, if you're a client of mine, We all as employees have 3 jobs. Everything that we do at work should fall into one of 3 buckets. We are there to either make money for our employer, save money for our employer, or help our employer reach their strategic goals. Make money, save money, help the employer reach their strategic goals. So when you are in a meeting and someone is talking about a subject matter, you want to refer to those 3 buckets. Make money, save money. How does this help us achieve our strategic goals? I want to give you a real life example to kind of help you think through it. Suppose you are called to a meeting and the meeting is about changing a current vendor that you have a relationship with. So in the subject line of the Outlook request, it says discuss changing vendor for whatever, fill in the blank for whatever it is. So you want to refer to whatever information you have in regards to that vendor, or any feedback that you've gotten from your employees, because generally I work with managers, directors, so whatever feedback you've gotten from your employees about that vendor. And as the speaker is talking about why they're proposing to change the vendor, you want to think back to the 3 buckets: make money, save money, achieve the organizational goals. So what would your first question be? Your first question would be, if the speaker does not answer this question within their presentation, why? Why are we considering changing vendors? In regards to the answer that you get from the why, you want to look at how the why, the reason as to the why you're considering changing vendors, is impacting the organization's ability to make money, save money, achieve organizational goals. And I'll give you a quick answer to that. I'm going to flip you over here to my flip chart. Going to bring it down just a little bit. So again, the topic here, we're going to change vendors. Of course, we want to look at how to make money, save money, and achieve organizational goals. So, you're in the meeting. The topic is changing vendors. So, what is your first question? If it's not included in the opening remarks, why? Why are we changing vendors? If that information isn't disclosed within the meeting, you want to see, in terms of the why, whatever the answer is the why impacting our sales, impacting our reputation, impacting our level of customer service, so think about those 3 things. The why. If it's impacting your sales, then obviously it's going to impact the organization's ability to make money. Also, if it's impacting your organization reputation, it can impact the organization's ability to make money, as well as the organization's ability to make future money, because it may your foot traffic through your organization for your product or service may decrease. If it impacts the level of customer service, now your brand is being impacted, and your brand can be impacted currently as well as future sales. So does this fall into the bucket of make money, save money, achieve organizational goals? Absolutely. So your why, depending on what that answer is, if it impacts sales, then it is impacting one of the 3 buckets. If it impacts the company's reputation, then it is impacting the three buckets. And if it's impacting the level of customer service, it is impacting the 3 buckets. So the question you want to ask is, how much has it impact sales? So how much? You're looking for a dollar amount. You also want to know how long has the situation been impacting sales? How long? And then you also want to know what is the difference between this time this year and this time last year in regards to your products or services from that vendor in terms of your sales. So you want to compare the difference. So those are the questions you're going to ask in terms of how has this vendor problem impact our sales? How much money has it impact in our sales? How long has this situation been going on? And you want to compare how much money, if it adversely impacts the organization, how much money has it impact the organization compared to sales of last year? In terms of the reputation, you want to ask questions in terms of how are we getting this feedback? So how are we getting this feedback? Is the feedback coming by just simply loss of sales? Are we getting bad reviews on social media? Is it the word on the street? So how is our reputation being impacted? Do we have other partnerships who are not willing to do business with us because of whatever the problem is with the vendor? So how is that current situation impacting the reputation? In terms of impacting the level of customer service, you want to ask questions about turnaround. Is it impacting our ability to service our customers, whatever's going on with the vendor in terms of the turnaround time? Is the quality of the product or services impacting how customers feel about our organization? So is it impacting the quality of the service or the product? Are you discounting or refunding because of whatever's going on with the vendor? So are you doing excessive discounts or refunds because of what's going on with the vendor? So in terms of customer service, is it impacting the turnaround time, the quality of service or the product? Are we discounting or refunding a significant amount of customers because of the relationship with the vendor? So these are questions that you would ask within the meeting. The why. How much, how long, compare the difference, the numbers, the data, impacting the reputation, impacting the level of customer service, turnaround time, is it impacting the foot traffic, quality of service, discounts, or it could be another situation where you may be dealing with, based on what the individual is saying. Let's say if the vendor has increased their price, maybe that's the problem. The vendor has increased the price. So if whatever it is that we're purchasing from the vendor they have increased the price, has it now dug into our profit margin? So now we are making less profit. And if they increase the price and we are making less profit, so which means it's less profitable for the organization. These are questions you're asking the person who's presenting in the meeting. Are there other comparable vendors with the same product or services? So, who are the vendors' competitors? And have we done business with them? And if we have done business with them, then why do we no longer do business with them? And if we've never done business with them, have we considered doing business with them? And if we have, why did we choose not to do business with them? And you want to think about what is the price point of the competitor. If the price point is similar to the current vendor and the shipment time is the same, so there's no delay in shipment time, meaning how you get it to your customers, and the quality is the same, then after you get the answer to those questions, then you want to ask a third question, which is, what are our contractual obligations to the current vendor? How much further do we have, if any, on our contractual obligations to the vendor? Because sometimes we're under contract, and so we have to ride out our relationship with that current vendor until the contract ends, and then we may choose not to renew our contract with that vendor. You also have to keep in mind what the contract terms are. Those are questions that you ask in the meeting. Okay, well, if we have an alternative and we may want to consider ending our contract, what are the contract terms in terms of our notification of letting the individual know that we do not want to renew our contract? Or is there an automatic renewal on the contract? So those are some things you want to consider. You want to ask questions that have to do with profitability, quality of product and service, impact on brand, the organizational brand, the level of service. You want to ask questions in terms of shipment time, turnaround time, quality, to determine whether or not you have a viable alternative to the vendor that you're having a problem with. These are questions that you can ask in a meeting to show how in-depth you have your ability to look at things in an in-depth manner, your ability to tie things back to the organizational goals, or to make money, save money, and achieve organizational goals. These are questions that you can ask in a meeting to show your value within the organization, and also to shine a light on your ability to think past various issues and how you can think of it in a constructive way, so that you can also, one, have a meeting of value, and two, so that you can decrease the number of meetings by asking all of the questions that are needed to be asked within that meeting. There are other ways that you can add value to a meeting. Not just, this example was an example with using a vendor, but you always want to ask follow-up questions. You want to ask data questions. You want to think about the three areas that impact our business pretty much almost all of the time. That's infrastructure, which has to do with processes, technology, and talent. Those are the three things that impact our day-to-day business. Infrastructure, which has to do with our processes, technology, and talent. So whenever someone has a meeting about a subject, think about infrastructure, technology, and talent. And then on the other hand, you want to think about making money, saving money, achieving organizational goals. And you want to ask questions that are pertinent to those buckets. And that should yield some answers. One, answers so that the group can think through what it is that they are, what it is that you're meeting about. And then also, it may prevent future meetings, because no one likes a meeting before another meeting. We want productive meetings. We want meetings where we can clarify things. We want meetings where we can share information. We can make decisions within a meeting. We want meetings where we can create solutions by, once a problem is communicated, we can brainstorm different challenges and then combine and evaluate those challenges that are brought to the table by the attendees. And then also, we want meetings that build relationships. And part of building relationships is understanding other areas within your organization. I believe that we are all business managers, but we all have specialties in certain areas. For instance, I am a business manager. I'm a business leader. However, my specialty may be human resources. But I know, think, and understand the business as a whole. And so you also want to use meetings as a way to build relationships. So I am Dr. Karen Hills Pruden. That is a example of how you can add value in a meeting. Keep in mind, you want to be all in the meeting, no multitasking, no scrolling on your cell phone or anything like that. You have the opportunity. You never know, your next promotion may come from how you perform within a meeting. That's generally how individuals get to see what your level of expertise are. You want to make sure that when you go into meetings that you're prepared, you're viewed as an expert, and that you ask questions that an expert would ask. I am Dr. Karen Hills Pruden. I am your career elevation expert, and I will see you next week. No excuses, make it happen.